और इधर हो जाती हूँ. Shall I start?
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
Namaste, Adab, good evening, and Sat Shri Akal to all my viewers. I'm so delighted today that I'm going to start the inspiring conversations in this year with a world icon, a wonderful person who's going to, really show us what an inspired woman can do in our inspiring conversations today. So she's a woman of substance, a woman of power, a woman of positive influence, and a woman of meaning. So, Dr. Satnam Duechakar, I'm so glad to have you on my show today. A very, very warm welcome to you. So, can you? I'm
Thank
really
you.
sorry, viewers. We're a little late, but I think you'll bear with us, and you're going to really enjoy this conversation. So, before I let you speak, I'm going to just read out for my viewers a little bit what I know about you, and it's a lot actually. but,
Apologies.
but I'm going to read out parts of it because otherwise I think I'll go on the whole day. So, Dr. Satnam Bajaj has been a keynote speaker, panelist, and a chief guest on more than 200 plus international forums. So, she has been the director of Asian African Development Council, head of foreign affairs and Arab Union sustainability. She has won the Global Icon Award for Diplomatic Mission of Peace. She's a Peace Track Ambassador. She has got the Books of Peace Award 2022, Global Women Leadership Award 2022, Inspiring Leadership Award in 2021, Women of Substance Global Recognition 2021, shortlisted nominee for National Diversity Award UK. And she has a whole list of multiple international awards. I don't know how many I can read out, but she's a UK delegate at the UN Women, a director of McGlory, director of Consta Group, director and chief executive of Strategic Development, IAMA and FIP, and international partner, United Kingdom and Northern Ireland for World Business Angels Investment Forum. And that's Dr. Satnam Duechakar. Most welcome to you. And so now, I've read out everything, so many awards, such a wonderful personality sitting in front of me. And I want now you to tell me, like, how did you do this and why did you do this? How did you
First of
start?
all,
Yes.
thank you so much, Shruti ji. It's actually an absolute honor to be here. Anything like, I don't know, I'm all about my father. And my father is all about our motherland, So this India, ये जो पवित्र धरती है, ये हमारी खून की रग रग में दौड़ रही है. इसके लिए जो प्यार है, वो हमारे अंदर ऐसे समाया है जैसे आप सांस लेते हैं, ठीक है? तो इससे ज़्यादा मेरे लिए और खुशी की बात क्या हो सकती है कि आपके शो के ज़रिए मैं अपने भारतवासियों के साथ आज कनेक्ट कर रही हूँ. तो जितनी भी ये आप बातें करते हैं अवार्ड्स की, या कैसे ये काम है, या कोलैबोरेशन है, या इंटरनेशनल वर्ल्ड में काम कर रहे हैं, देयर इज अनदर पोजीशन दैट आई होल्ड. आई एम वन ऑफ द बिजनेस एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर for development office for the private office of Sheikh Ahmed bin Faisal Al Qasimi.
Oh yes,
तो
this.
रॉयल फैमिली के साथ भी यूएई में काम करती हूँ, बहुत प्यार मिलता है। ये शायद ये हमारे मातृभूमि का और मेरे माता पिता का आशीर्वाद है, बड़ों का आशीर्वाद है, ये उसी के साथ पॉसिबल है। I mean, if you count on a humanly note, we can't create more than 24 hours. But ये जितना भी काम करने की जो मुझे शक्ति मिलती है या ताकत मिलती है, ये सब मुझे अपने माता पिता के साथ ही मिलती है। तो
So that's
जैसे
really
मातृभूमि,
interesting, Satnam ji, because you talk a lot about your father, and at the same time you work a lot for women and gender equality and all the rest of it. So first, I would like to really thank your dad for making you what you are and supporting you in every which way he has, so that I mean, he has supported you, and we have realized that there is no limit for what a woman can achieve, you know, and no limit to the kind of obstacles that you have told me about you had to go through, and still you continued on your journey of contribution, of creating, you know, a world which would be better for everybody, especially the women. So I think I've lost you, Satnamji. Have I lost you?
my apologies, I think you lost me for a minute. Okay.
Yeah. So I was just wanting to know, like, as let's talk about the women first. So as a you know, UK delegate to the UN Women um, Council, so what do you do there, and what are the plans like for 2022 to 2025? And there are certain things that they are trying to do for women. So can you tell us something about that? How
Yeah,
do you
sure.
do that? And yes,
See, UN Women specifically is there to protect the interest, safeguarding, and rights for women all over the world. And particularly, I'm working with UN Women UK. And especially, I think in the last couple of months, because of the war, we understand there's a lot of wars that are happening in Syria, Ukraine, a lot of other places that have been, disrupted by the war conditions. And specific in those areas, you can understand the position of the women goes really, really below the belt. You can't even mention the kind of atrocities the women face. So specifically on those areas, we've been working very hard, and even for coming months and weeks, we are focused on bringing the migrants back, giving them some accommodations, giving them the rights, skills in UK. At the moment, this is what was happening, and I think next couple of months will actually go in rehabilitating them and rescheduling their living conditions and working around them. So that is the base core work that is happening in UK at the moment. Apart from then, generally, they're working worldwide with all the problems that women face anywhere in the world. So any issue that a world you can classify for a women, that is what the women UN they represent.
yeah. So women, of course, at the wartime must have really suffered, and you know, women like you went and helped them out, and you've done so much for the women even on the Ukraine borders. I know about that. But even in the normal world, like you know, women are always there is some kind of tussle between because of the gender issues. They're not paid as well. They're exploited, and all the rest of it. And so, how does like do you feel actually that the women themselves really need to stand up together, and they are the ones who can actually create peace in the world? Do you feel that,
I feel
since you
like
have got an
any
award for
instance.
peace?
See, if you go down every time, issue, you have to uproot it from the very base level. So how do you think the women can stand from themselves? How can they become confident? The first issue, I guess, especially in developing countries, is the economic independence. Unless the women are economically independent, they will not be able to think for themselves. They will not be able to come out and defend themselves. They will not be able to take those decisions. Just
True. So she's been doing a lot of work on education. I think economic independence begins from educating the girl child, looking, making sure that all the women are educated. And it's sad that in some parts of the world, even now, women are not getting the kind of education they should. So you've also been doing a lot of work for education, Satnam. I just took over and told them about your, in like work for education, which you're doing, because I feel the girl child and women education is so important, because that is what will lead to economic independence, and they will be able to have a better say. Because honestly, I do feel that if the mothers of the world stood up, no mother would want her child to go die on the war front. She would not allow a war. If she could have a way, she would never allow her man to be, killed on the war front, or her son to go and be killed at the war front.
I tell you
So,
something. When
yeah,
we talk about education, it's so important. The first school is home, and the
yes,
first teacher is the first teachers. They're the parents. So
yes,
whatever, children are so innocent, they're like sponges. They just absorb whatever is around them. Okay, so it's so
true.
important. When we talk about education, I sometimes go back and I talk to people and I say, look, I think we have to educate the parents first. They need to know how to educate the children. At the moment, why the generations are heading to destruction, because the
Mhm.
first home, the first school, the first learning, that background, that foundation is not strong. They're not aware of what they're going to teach, and it's not even about teaching someone. Your reflection in the in your behavior, that
Yes,
is what the child will actually accept, and that is what they're programmed at. So it's so
yes,
important. And so seriously, you really have to look at, if you really want good citizens in a country, you want to first have good kids at home. But to have that, you have to have good parents who understand how to retrain them.
yeah.
So that is why I think
You've been
education.
working on you've also received a Bitya Gaurav Award. That's for the
Yeah,
Indian scenario,
definitely. Yeah.
which I think is very meaningful, because all said and done, still there are, people in India who do not have that kind of faith in the women. Although our country has been ruled successfully by a woman leader for more than 18 years, respected Shrimati Indira Gandhi ji. She held the country together for such a long time, and she led our
Even we
country.
have a ruling president at the moment.
Oh, yes.
Lady
So
president,
we've
yeah.
had a lot of excellent women leaders. We still have. But at the same time, in the general public, still people do not believe that their daughters are capable of doing maybe a little bit more than their sons,
Tell me
or at
something.
least equal.
Tell me something. In a country where we worship Durga, right?
Hmm.
What is Durga? Is embodiment of power. But what is
Absolutely.
Durga? Durga is actually
Shakti.
Nari, right? Nari. Nari is a woman. Women hold so many different delegations, positions. Look, when they are looking after the home, they're managing so many ministries. Okay, they're managing the household, they're managing the economic situation, they're looking at the relations, home relations. Okay, they're caring for the child. So think about it as a delegation in a country or the world. So this is in a major form. This is what the countries represent, right? So you have to
Yeah.
look after the relations. You have to work at the economic conditions. You have to work at how you are raising people. So
Raising the
women
daughter.
are capable, born capable. I would say they're born capable of ruling the world. Okay,
True.
especially like I said, in India, where we worship women. When I say worship women, is at the time they are 5, 6, 7, you treat them as Kanya and you do Kanya Pujan. Okay? Look at how we start. In every household, you have Kanya Pujan, right? You have Navaratri, you celebrate Navaratri, and then you take all the little girls and you celebrate them, don't you? You worship them almost like they're a miniature form of goddess. Why does it change? You tell me, why does it change? The same girl, when she grows up, why does she have to face all the atrocities? Why all of a sudden she's not now a object of worship? Why? Why she now becomes someone who has to be thrown back, who has to be voiceless, who has to be not left with any power? She her life is taken away from her. So, in this same country where we are starting on those footings to worship a woman, how does it go wrong? Where is the issue? The issue is at home. This is not outside. So, I never blame the governments, the systems. Why? Because it's a collective effort. But the collective effort starts from individual effort. If today I do not treat my sister okay, I do not treat my daughter okay, I do not treat my sister-in-law okay, or my mother-in-law okay, or vice versa in any position, then how can I blame the country or the society for not being responsible for all those things, right? So as a father, if you're not
Right.
treating your daughter right, as a brother, if you're not taught to treat your sisters right at home, how will people learn? Okay, so there is only so much we can blame the government for. The first, like, now do you think why I go back to the upbringing? So
Yes,
important that we cultivate the right seeds. The
I
trees, you do
totally
not
agree.
yeah. So you're not uprooting the tree and planting it. You're actually sowing a seed. So this is
Yes,
a lifetime transformation, right? And that is why the values are so important to be planted and at the right
yes,
age. And you have to nourish the child. So it's so important to actually change the way they perceive things. And that can only happen when you behaving like that. You can't just teach people. It is led by example. Okay? So
yes.
that
So
this is the
basically, you're
core.
saying that women are Shakti, girls are Devis, and the only thing is they just don't need empowerment. Actually, it's just the difference in perception that is required. The fathers, the brothers must understand and respect that, and more than them, I feel the women themselves need to understand, that they
Exactly.
are Shakti.
Everyone needs to
Somewhere
understand.
they have lost that, and the girls must be also trained to have that kind of self-esteem that they can do anything that they want to. And of course, for that, we need, see, gender equality, I feel, is not a woman's issue at all. It's a human issue. So we need the support of all the men. Like we have, of course, a lot of men supporting. We have the he for she movement going on, and good people like your father, they're all doing so much. So it's a human problem that needs to be resolved completely all over the world. And that itself, I think, will bring about a lot of peace, since you talk of peace, because where the woman is respected, there is bound to be peace, right? So because
True.
the woman is the nurturer, she will create, nurture, she will look after everybody. But if she's hurt and if she's not looked after the way she should be or not even respected, then the result is going to be negative,
See,
because then she
if you
takes on the
teach,
Kali
yeah,
route.
if the men are trained at home, the kids are trained at home to respect a woman, a girl child, and they're doing
Yes.
Kanya Pujan, then how dare would they go and try to rape someone, the same woman? They can't.
Yes, I know you've
We
done
have
a
to
lot
look
of
at
work.
how do you uproot crime. So to
Yes.
uproot crime, you have to change the perception. The change of
Yes.
mind has to happen.
Yes. So I believe you've done a lot of work when the Nirbhaya case happened, and you were instrumental in, creating that kind of vision for the people and the government together to change the laws in the country in favor of the women, to protect the girls from getting raped, and for the boys to get away after doing that kind of heinous crime. But things like, despite all the laws and everything, I think you're very right that the mindset has to begin at home. The mindset has to begin from schools, from awareness, from the parents talking about it. And I do feel a lot can be done through the schools also. It's not just at home. It has to be a complete awareness, that needs to be done in the society by large. So coming to you, so all this talk, people keep listening to. I hope we're not boring the viewers on this. So I want to tell them something very interesting about you. So as a girl, Dr. Satnam is very, very spiritually connected. As you can see, she shines like a diamond. She's more full. She's a treasure more than the rubies and all the treasures of the world, because she is not only virtuous, she's capable, she's intelligent, and she's doing work for all the world, for the world to become a better place. And it all started, her journey has started because of her deep rootedness and spirituality. And she spent a lot of years doing seva in gurdwaras. Now, that is something, which kind of really mesmerized me when you told me that you were in the Manikaran Gurdwara, and you were, literally serving people for so many years, and you did so much of seva. So tell us something about those days. So, people should know that a high profile woman And a woman of substance is not just her looks and what she's saying. So much has gone into her, the depth behind you. So can you tell us something, what you picked up there, what was your learning while you were there, and how that created Dr. Satnam Duechakar?
Definitely.
Of Shruti,
First of
yes.
all, any introduction to my name or my life or my whole entire persona or whatever I'm doing is all down to my father. My father is Dr. Prakash Lal Devchakar. My father comes from Himachal, Kulu Manali, and a very pious land. That land is blessed with all the Devi Devtas, all the deities. So
Yes.
even this, my surname, which is Devchakar, how we pronounce it, is a local word from Himachal. And because we have local deities there, and they're called Dev, and
Dev,
Chakar actually means servant of Lord.
of
So
God.
my father, because of his work that he was doing, selfless work, 40 years in that area, he was given that name Dev Chakar. That is the name that I took it on as my surname. So,
Wonderful.
and the other name, like I have Satnam, this is the name that I was actually blessed with. Uh, Sant Santokh Singh Ji is a Brahmgyani from Sarhand, Jyoti Surup, Fatehgarh Sahib. And he gave me that name, Satnam. So I used to be Seema before, Seema. That was the name
Yeah.
I was given when I was born. So I used to say to Babaji, Babaji, people won't call me Satnam, because they're so used to Seema. How do I make them call me Satnam now that you've renamed me as Satnam? And he used to say, जो आपको सतनाम बोलेंगे उनके सारे काम हो जाएंगे. So he blessed me at that time. Unfortunately, I was not able to take that name legally at that time. I could not take it as an official name. It was my bad luck, you can say. Because, when you're blessed so highly with all
Yeah.
these spiritual beings at some very different level, I should have actually retained it. But I was only 18 at the time. I couldn't. And then later on in 2020, I did Paul name changed myself and I got my name as Satnam Duechakar. So that
Wonderful.
is my name now. This is, but
So,
where my father comes into place, because 45 years ago, my father was the person who, one of the founders for Kulu Shawls. He
yes.
started treating people with Gaumutra, naturopathy, and he started organic farming. He was a big philanthropist in that area who was curing people selflessly, who was teaching people, naturopathy and finger yoga. He was curing a lot of people. So whatever he could do, he started doing tree plantation because in that area, Kulu Manali, people were putting up a lot of resorts. So they were a lot of deforestation was happening. So he thought people won't listen. So how do I actually now retrain them to either replant or not cut down the trees? So the only way he could do was he started planting people trees,
Now, the Bodhi tree.
and he started doing Kanya Pujan around them. This is how he started the work there. And 45 years he gave to that area. He introduced kiwi fruit, he
How
introduced
many people
pomegranate.
trees how many people trees has he planted there?
A lot. I mean, his whole life is all about the work in those areas.
Wonderful.
So
I know
all
he
his
is
life is about
always
selfless service. It's all
yes,
his
and
blessings, actually, all his blessings. My mother comes from royal background in that area, and my apologies for the background. I'm not at home. My apologies. I just got occupied today, but you will find out. There's a lot of good work that we're doing with the. Uh,
okay, tell us something about the good work you're doing right now, and
okay.
while you're in India, and what all are you involved in? Let's listen to that first.
Okay. So the intention, like I said, I've been working all over the world, and my parents obviously always said that मातृभूमि के लिए क्या करना है आप पहले ये बताओ कि अपनी मातृभूमि के लिए क्या किया है. So that particular reason I came back here in 2016 and I did all the work that I did with most of the the political parties and people and ministers and whatever I could, NGOs, whatever I was possible I did. But the 4 year lap was because of the COVID. We didn't have the visas to travel. UK people were restricted. Now, fortunately, I've managed to get my OCI, which is the Overseas Citizen Card. So I'm now able to spend more time in India. And the intention is now to put whatever resource around the globe we have, inherited, to utilize it in the betterment of our country, whether it's women empowerment, whether it's plantation, whether it's globalization, whether it's economic hubs, whatever, green technologies, infrastructure, anything, whether it's
So, you know,
um,
you have
in
taken
whatever
all,
sectors it is.
yeah. So all the sustainable development goals you're working on, right? I was just going through them. I think you were working on each and everything, like from removing poverty to hunger to good health, quality education, gender equality, clean water sanitization, affordable clean energy through your smart city work, decent work, economic growth, industry innovations, infrastructure, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, work on climate through your tree plantations. And I don't think you've left out any sustainable development goal. And I know you've also won an award for this, and you definitely deserve it, Satnam. I can't tell you how impressed I feel by just, trying to figure out how much work you've done. I kind of miss out on things. So, and I'm so happy that you've decided to do this work in our country, your own Matrabhumi. I'm saying our country, yes, yours and mine. And so I'm sure it will bring in a lot of good fortune to a lot of people and a lot of blessings. And, that you're working so hard and doing so much for the country. And I had the opportunity to talk to your father for some time, and yes, I realized that he was so eager to make a good cause with every moment he had. While I was standing with him, he taught me a few things of finger yoga. How to cure stones from the kidney with certain yogic postures right on the fingers. So I
He
was
doesn't
really
even like to waste one moment. He
I
doesn't
could
like to
gather
waste even
that,
one moment.
and I could gather that. And it's another beautiful thing is that your whole family is involved. The Duechakar trust that you call. So there are eight of you who are earning
Yeah.
otherwise and contributing to society, creating projects, working for everybody. I mean, this I don't think any other family that I know of where all the people are working together, creating a trust and working so hard together, to create value wherever they're going. So this is also a very exemplary. I feel like giving you a family award for that. I don't think you've got a family award so
You know
far.
what our award is actually? My
Huh?
father, he was hidden all his life. He did all the work, and he didn't want to be in the limelight. And we were instructed never to be on any of the social medias. People never even knew we existed. But during
Yes,
COVID, what happened was you were cut off from the real world, and the only way you could connect people was virtually. So I actually went very viral on on these social medias because I wanted to work. And then I realized that connection is so important. You
yes,
really have to be on the outer world, not for limelight. It was for motivating people or trying to
absolutely,
understand where the need is. So that is when
absolutely.
I said to my father that we'll have to rearrange our working conditions, and we have to come
Style
out.
of work.
We have to start traveling, start coming out in the open light. We can't always work from behind the scenes. So that is when I kind of retrained him. But otherwise, I just work on his principles. Only like two things he taught me, few things, very few things. And
Yes,
I don't even think I need any to go through any particular spiritual books or epics or anything, because I think everything was in those teachings. Just what he said to me was, me upside down, we. Okay, so when
yes,
the M becomes W, the whole problem is gone. And I realized that he's right, absolutely right. When the
wonderful.
selfishness is gone, the whole problem is gone. So, wonderful. And the other thing he said, when a drop loses itself to the ocean, to be the ocean itself. But this is purely what my father says, and it's his own. It's not just what he says. This is something he lives by. Okay, so I'm all about him and all about what he believes in. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm trying to lose myself in this wider ocean, to just forget who I am and then just work with one mission, one vision, one focus, how we can work for the betterment of humanity.
So you also work as a business consultant at the private office of Sheikh Ahmed bin Fazal Kazmi. So
Yeah.
tell us something about your, this promotion of business in India. I believe you're going to Madhya Pradesh for some summit, business summit, where you're going to be talking about how investors from the world can, actually invest in Madhya Pradesh and what they can do. So tell us something about that, because that's a totally
Yeah.
different issue and a very serious one. And I think what you're
Sure,
doing
sure.
is amazing. Yes,
Because of my placement, as a economic hub head for a lot of organizations, a lot of chambers of commerce throughout the world, Asia Africa Development Council, which is ours. We're working in a lot of countries. We have our own consortiums, investor consortiums, and like I said, we are core of green technologies. So we work in infrastructure. We bring our green technologies, we finance them, and we also incentivize them by investing in the infrastructure. So a lot of other investors that we have on our panel, they invest in various different sectors. So we were planning to host this event in Madhya Pradesh, but luckily the CM, which is a very honorable person, Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, he was very kind, and our PM, Mr. Modi, was very, very kind to actually get this whole event organized through the government. And now we have the best investors from the entire globe coming up to see what what opportunities are available in Madhya Pradesh, and
that's
very kindly they've invited us as esteemed guests. So I'm very, very fortunate to be there. And in India, I'm working on most of the missions, Prime Minister missions. So all the work that we're doing on humanitarian side, they are basically under our honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi.
okay. Oh, that's wonderful. So, like you have started with Madhya Pradesh, so will you be doing it in the other states also, like Bihar, UP,
Yeah. Definitely, definitely. This is
I
only
think
a
a lot
start.
of
Our intention
development.
is for entire India. We don't
Yeah,
we don't fragment India. For us,
yeah,
India is one. So it's
yeah.
not about
Because
states.
I
It's
think it
just,
would be
yeah,
beautiful if you can have such summits in every state, because that could really
definitely,
help
definitely.
in economic development.
We're
So,
getting to that. I think what we're trying to do is collaborate with the government to organize every government in every state. So uh, it started from Madhya Pradesh, but it will come from state to state.
wonderful. So this is really heartening to hear that you will be working in every state, helping the state and the people of the state have better economic opportunities through investments, which you are going to promote the place for. So this is something which I think आप ये कर दोगे तो आप मातृभूमि के लिए बहुत कुछ कर दोगे. you know, it's really going to be
मातृभूमि का एक ऋण होता है हम पे, तो हम
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
उसको कुछ भी करके उतार नहीं सकते हैं. दिस इज समथिंग वी
That's
कांट.
true.
हम फॉर्चुनेट है कि हमको थोड़ा सा भी मौका मिल जाए. ये बहुत
Yes.
ही गौरव की बात होगी अगर एक दिन के भर का मौका भी मिल जाए. बिकॉज देखो, करने वाला तो परमेश्वर है, राइट? वो किसी से भी करवा लेगा. हम तो सिर्फ अरदास करते हैं कि हे महाराज, तो किसी से भी करा लोगे, हमें भी मौका दो.
अच्छा सतनाम, आप इतना काम करते हो, सारा दिन यू आर बिजी, बड़ी मुश्किल से अभी आप घर भी नहीं पहुंचे हो. यू स्टॉप योर कार एंड यू आर डूइंग दिस इंटरव्यू विद मी because you have, I suppose, in the evening again a whole lot of meetings
या
lined up. I'm sure of that. So how does, I mean, what is it that keeps you inspired? Of course we are feeling very inspired, so I'm sure the viewers will also be very inspired looking at the kind of things you do, and thank you so much for that. But what is it? Of course your father's role is definitely there, but on your own, like every day in the morning, what are your morning rituals, or what are your sleep time rituals that keep you charged for the next day? Do you have
नो.
anything like that? Or
I'll tell you something. I am very transparent as a person. तो मेरे फादर ने एक ही चीज सिखाई थी, मन चंगा तो कटौती में गंगा. And that is it. We are just transparent in the sense we can't fabricate anything. We don't know how to pretend. This is simple who we are. Who we are inside out, we are outside. जो मन में है वही जबान में है, जो जबान में है वही मन में है.
but
तो
kabhi
my
kabhi
father
to
said that.
kabhi kabhi to when you had not been well in between, you told me. So money kya ki there is no point just running around like that. Let me just take care of myself and let me just be, on my own. Like just take care of myself and just be there. Don't run around so much. Don't. ऐसे
I
कभी
would,
आया?
because I've lost a lot of time in my life in illness. 6 साल and बीच में भी तो I feel like I already feel that मेरे पास time बहुत कम है, तो इस कम time में काम बहुत ज़्यादा है. तो all I do is I take blessings from my parents because मैंने भगवान को नहीं देखा है, मेरे लिए यही भगवान है, ठीक है ना.
Wonderful,
तो
wonderful.
इन्हीं का आशीर्वाद लेके चलती हूँ और बस इन्हीं से अरदास करती हूँ कि आप मुझे मार्गदर्शन करते रहिए ताकि मैं काम कर सकूँ. तो
So
इन्हीं की ताकत से चलती हूँ और कोई ताकत नहीं है मेरे पास.
wonderful. So, that's Dr. Satnam Bajaj for you. She has simplified the world of contribution by just turning a me around to we. That's her father's gift to her. Do that, just turn the me around and make it we will all be able to really progress well in life and create the kind of peace we need. And as she says, blessings of the parents are very important in life, and that is what gives her the energy and inspiration to go on working. And Dr. Satnam Bajaj, as a Bajaj, I'm saying Satnam Duechakar, as a young girl, used to ask her father that how can I rid the world of all these problems? What can I do? And she was just waiting to grow up. And like she says, that when she was unwell, her only wish was to get well so that she could do all this. And so there is no question of, getting tired or getting exhausted. She's on it, at it, and she's in India. And we're looking forward to, a lot of good work coming our way for the country through your family and you. And really, with all my heart, I want to thank you. And thank you so much for coming to this show. I'm sure a lot of people have gone back with a lot of energy from you, taken back your father's guidances. The thing you said about Man Changato, what was it? Completed for me. Man Changato? Huh?
Yeah. कटौती में
That,
गंगा, मन चंगा तो
Katati
कटौती
mein
में
Ganga.
गंगा.
So,
It means
yeah,
if your mind is pure, and that pure mind actually beholds Ganga.
yes. So you don't need to
So
go and
Ganga
have
is
fun in
pure,
the Ganga. If you can clean your mind, keep
Yeah.
your mind pure, that itself is pure, that's what it means, I believe, right? So
Yeah,
it's as
that's
good
true.
as, clearing all your sins. Keep your mind clear.
Having a
With, yeah,
is
stay
as good as
transparent.
bathing in Ganga.
Yeah, so stay transparent, keep your mind clear, and continue to do contribution work. And turn the me to we is what I take back. I'm going to, keep that in my mind. Maybe I'm going to write it somewhere, and I'm going to make a me turning into we, so that it reminds me of this wonderful conversation I've had with you, Dr. Satnam Duechakar. The spiritual blessings coming our way from the servant of God. I'm really, really happy
We're
and
all blessed. Actually, something.
really thankful to you that you could come for this conversation. This is the first conversation of the year that I have had, and I'm feeling so blessed that it has started with you. So thank you
Thank you
so much.
so much.
Would you
Thank
like to
you.
say
We're
something to
grateful.
the world? Is there
Definitely,
any?
Shruti ji, we're looking to collaborate with you, and we're very fortunate that you're joining us. And congratulating you as well at the same time, and looking forward to the beautiful journey that we're going to be working together. At the same time, I would like to also invite, some like-minded people in India to see if they
Yes,
want to collaborate, join hands, and work further. क्योंकि एक और एक 11 होते हैं, दादा
बिल्कुल
बोलते
होता
हैं कि मिलके ही काम होता है, अकेले में आप सब कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
है,
तो एक
बिल्कुल.
कैंडल है, हम एक कैंडल की तरह है, राइट. वी जस्ट हैव टू इग्नाइट एज मेनी एज वी कैन, एंड देन दे डू द रेस्ट. So that
Absolutely.
is the mission, and this is what we're looking at. So I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity and look forward to seeing you very soon.
Thank you so much, Dr. Satnam. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.